I'm Dana Healy, and you're listening to Cities Speak. Councilmember Wayne Groff is in his first term on the Roseville City Council, having been elected to office November of 2018. Councilmember Groff has lived in Roseville since 2009 and was previously a resident of Falcon Heights for over 25 years. Prior to joining the City Council, Councilmember Groff was a member of the Roseville Planning Commission and previously served 2 terms on the Roseville Human Rights Commission. He's also a board member of the Arts Roseville and a member of the Roseville Area League of Women Voters and the Optimist Club. Professionally, Councilmember Groff is a residential realtor with Edina Realty. Councilmember Groff, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Dana. This is great to be here on a chilly day, but it's warm inside.
Yeah, I know. It's negative 11 degrees last time I checked. It is quite chilly today. So you are in the middle of your first term, and at this point in your term, you really got your legs underneath you, and you're hitting your stride. What initiatives and projects have been your most proudest accomplishments?
Well, Dana, you're right. It takes a bit of time to get your legs under you, as you said. There's a lot to learn when you're elected to any position, and the city staff help a lot with that. So I've been very active in environmental issues and also in diversity issues with the city. So those are probably 2 of the biggest things that I've been working on with the council and with the staff.
That's great. So in early January, the council members were appointed to their committee seats, and you're a board member of the Northeast Youth and Family Services, Visit Roseville, as well as the appointed mayor. So let's talk about those committees. First, why did you opt in for those specific committee assignments?
Well, the Northeast Youth and Family Services have that group has interested me for many years. I've always attended their fundraisers that they did annually before COVID. Of course, last year it was a virtual fundraiser, but they function to help people with their life issues. A lot of it has to deal with mental health. So they'll try to help families with young students and help them work out issues so that they can complete their education, have better family structure, and work those out. So that's always been a concern, because if you don't have mental health access to mental health counseling, it is a really hard thing for you to function in a school setting. The other thing that they do, the NYFS, that's what we call it for short, is that they help seniors stay in their home. So they do like chore service, so that if a senior needs their house painted or something like that, they can get that done through the service if they qualify for the help. So I think it's really kind of nuts and bolts community service, and I really like that sort of thing where you can see something tangible. The other group I was appointed to is the Roseville area, or the Visit Roseville, which is the group that advocates for hotel use and restaurant use, the businesses in Roseville, but for visitors coming here. So that's a group I found interesting, because I think it's important to have have our city out there, even though during COVID it's been a real challenge, but that's been an interest of mine. Finally, what was the other one you asked about, Dana?
Appointed mayor. So I think it was in early January. And maybe our viewers might not know what the role of appointed mayor is.
Correct. I'll talk about that a little bit. What an appointed mayor does is they actually fill in if the mayor is not able to do that job. So it could be just for one meeting. If the mayor, say, was ill or was out of the city at the time, then I would run the meeting as the mayor would. So basically, you do whatever the mayor would do if they are not available. And of course, the worst case would be is if the mayor was not able to, or like if they moved out of the city or something, then you would finish. You'd not finish the term necessarily. I shouldn't say that, but you would fill in until the council appointed someone to that. At that point, the council appoints the seat. So basically, you fill in for whatever the mayor would be doing if he was there, he or she was there to do the job.
That's great. Thank you so much for letting our viewers know exactly kind of what that is. So related to, so you've lived in Roseville since 2009, so that's about 11 years. So you've seen a lot of change. Roseville has gone through a lot. What have been some of the biggest changes that you've seen as a resident as well as a city council member?
I think Roseville has developed a lot, and we have completed a lot of development that for businesses. We've brought business have moved here and built the buildings, but we also have had housing built, and a lot of it has been affordable housing, which is really important because many of the jobs we have are not paying high enough wages to purchase homes in Roseville, which is an unfortunate thing, but that's the nature of values going up. So we do need housing for people that are doing all the other jobs here. Some of them are in the service industries, things like that. So the housing has been a big change, and also new businesses coming into Roseville. We have a dermatology clinic that has come in. The Epilepsy Foundation has just signed a lease on that, I think, on part of that building. So businesses with jobs that are coming in is a big change. So consequently, we do get more traffic and other things to deal with too. I'd say the other thing that has changed in Roseville, and this is just something more of a realization of the population, the population has changed, the demographics, the makeup, the skin tones of people in Roseville have changed. And I think that's something that, with my background in the Human Rights Commission, has really been something I've been working on, trying to be inclusive. And I think that Roseville is moving that direction. We have interviewed members to fill the new position of the Director of Inclusivity. I don't have it in front of me, but we are getting a new director. Lisa Tabor from Culture Brokers is helping us with that. So those are the things I think that have changed the most in Roseville in the since I moved here.
Well, thank you so much for, yeah, it's really gone through quite amount of change, but progressive change, good change. So I do think that Roseville is going in a great direction. So what are some projects that are coming down the pike that you're really excited about?
Things that are coming down the pike, we just finished a couple, so I'm trying to think of what we're working on now. We're still working on, of course, green issues. You know, climate change is a real thing, and so that's coming along. And we're looking at perhaps, we're revamping the zoning codes entirely to reflect updates, because it's the new comprehensive plan has been completed and we need to reflect those updates. And one of the things I'd like to see in there, some of the things I'd like to see worked on would be the perhaps charging stations required in apartment buildings that are a certain size, so that people can, if they're renting, they can have an electric car. Right now, if you are living in an apartment, you're not able to have an electric car because there's no charging station available. It's not like if you own a home, you could put in your own charging station. So some things like that are the things we're looking at. Of course, there's always the nuts and bolts of keeping the streets passable and snow removal and all those things. That's just the standard work the city does all the time, but people don't think about that so much because that's not in the news. So that's kind of what we expect. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea to have those charging stations. I live in Shoreview, and Shoreview has put in, I think, 3 charging stations. And they're really, you see a lot more electric cars that are just coming throughout our community. So what a great step. That would really encourage a lot of people to purchase greener utilities like electric cars. So. Mm-hmm. You've served on a number of commissions, the Planning Commission, the Human Rights Commission, and you're also a realtor in this area. How has that background laddered up to your role as city council, and what aspects of those backgrounds do you really draw from?
Well, I think they're very different commissions. The Human Rights Commission is dealing with people and how the city interacts with people and how we can be more inclusive. So that really is kind of the human side of the city. The Planning Commission is the zoning and how space is used. So it's much more nuts and bolts, or it's like very structural. So they're two different sides, and I think combining them kind of gives a good background for what you do on a city council, because you need to combine both of those aspects to be a good council member. As far as the real estate side, I think it gives that part of my professional career gives me a good understanding of how people want to live, how housing needs to change as the society changes, and how to best make it work for everyone. So that's kind of the overall picture I see in my background of working on the council, and so far I feel like it's worked well.
It's such a great mix, like to draw from, and you're right, you're talking to the members of the community in your professional work, and that really keeps your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the community and different trends that are coming through. So I know you have a strong arts background. You've served on numerous arts boards. How has the art scene been during the past year? Do you have any comments on that?
Dana, I certainly do. It's like everything. I know all of our groups have had to change and adjust, but I am very proud of Arts Roseville, how quickly we pivoted when we were closed down, basically, because what we had been trying to do is to have a platform for local artists, and we were working with in conjunction with the Ramsey County Library. One of the features we had was the featured artist talks, and we did about six to eight of those per year with the library. We do them monthly, and then we take a few months off. So we were looking for a variety of artists. Well, we had to pivot and, of course, put that on an online platform, just like everyone else has had to do. But it's really worked very well. So some things in this have worked. We're able to archive those, and they're available on the artsroseville.org site, so you can watch them when you have time. And I'm also very proud of Arts Roseville in the variety of people and the variety of arts that are represented. We have people from Native American background that have been guest artists. We have a woman from India who is a painter. We have a man from Italy. So it's a wide range of people and a wide range of experiences on there. So I think it really helps Roseville understand we have a wide range of talents in the city, and something you can do too. So that's what I see as Arts Roseville right now. We have our lineup ready for the year. Almost all of them are filled, and I hope everyone will check that out.
That's great. Maybe we can put some more information about it on our social media and help promote that, because it's really such a great organization to highlight all these different artists in the area. Have you been able to, for those talks, because they're in a webinar format, are you able to draw other artists that you would have normally not had access to?
I don't know about not having access to them. I'm thinking through who we had, but it makes it easier. That's for sure. In some ways, it makes it easier because they're not tied to a specific date to be at the library live, and then of course you have to have the technology at the library all working and all that sort of thing. Whereas now we're down into a pattern. So we do have several set up this year, but it was quite a lot easier, I think, and probably because of that, Dana, we were able to get some people filled into those slots. They seem to be very agreeable because their time, it was more flexible, so it was an easier schedule.
That's great to hear that, because it is great content. And that's one thing that's come out of this pandemic is loads of content for people to continue to stay in touch and stay engaged with the topics that they like about their community. So what would you like to say to the residents of Roseville? Is there anything that you would like to say and reach out to them?
I would say be involved with your city. We have several commissions that we have appointments coming up on, and the commissions advise the city council on issues. So if you have an interest in the environment, look at public works, environment, and transportation. If you have interest in human rights, inclusion, and engagement, look at that commission. Because we're always looking for input from the residents. It's crucial to have a strong city to have input from residents, and we want to communicate and we want to be transparent on that. So those are the things I'd say. And also, if you're a newer resident to Roseville, check out the City of Roseville website. There's lots of, you could just wander around at a time that's convenient for you and look at the different commissions and the different things the city is doing. So those are the things I would like the residents to be aware of and to interact. We do want to hear from you, and that's crucial, because otherwise you're not a representative city government. And so whether you're new here or you've been here for 45 or 50 or 60 years, because people have lived here all their lives, you run into that when you're door knocking. We still want to hear your thoughts. And I want to stress that that's important, because people don't realize we don't get that many calls. I remember when I first won the election, people said, oh boy, now you're going to get phone calls day and night. We do not get that many calls, and we do want to hear from you. Or you can email us at any time, and we usually respond, pretty quickly to those things. So that's what I'd like the residents to know. We want to hear from you.
That's great to be able to so residents, please reach out. They want to help you. And also those commissions, I saw the list, there's quite a few openings. So it's just a great way to get more people involved in building up our community. So thank you so much, Wayne. I really appreciate chatting with you. It's always a good time.
Good to see you, Dana. Thanks so much.
So to our viewers at home, have you heard of our Compass programs? We are leaning into the community conversation with timely listening sessions with panels of experts talking about topics such as food insecurities, suburban homelessness, human trafficking, as well as land use and rural broadband access. So really interesting topics. Check out our website, www.9north.org, for more information about that series. Also, smash that like button, leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. You've been listening to City Speak. If you've enjoyed this show, please like, comment, and share on social at 9 North Media.